Hello, how's everyone doing? I swear this button on the microphone, I kind of hit it and then I always feel like I've hit it enough, but it just doesn't go live. So let's not have an episode like last time where I was talking for 15 minutes and nothing happened. So yeah, welcome everybody. Let's see. This is the scene that we want. Hope everyone can hear me just fine. So I'm going to continue on the Noise Marine today. Let's see. On my stream deck, so I don't have to click on anything because that gets annoying. I have to store my mouse and keyboard away under the table. Sorry guys. Hey K Scott, hey Dapwell. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Glad you're here, K Scott. Losing my voice already. So last time we did get, or this is as far as we get last time. I cheated a bit. I tried the pattern of the is it a leopard? I want to say it's a leopard pattern. Should have taken better care of my brush the other day. But yeah, so I've been cheating a bit and I've been doing the leopard pattern, at least on one leg. Doing Wiley, thank you so much for joining the All-Star team. Enjoy the emotes, and also don't forget, if you subscribe on Twitch, you can go to my Discord, link up Discord and Twitch, and then you can get the PDF for the month. If you haven't done that yet, you can definitely do that. This month I uploaded the Imperial Fist PDF as well, so that's something I'm trying to do to give back to subscribers. Fortunately, I can't really offer all that much, obviously, but this is just something that I'm trying to do. So today I'm not really keen on continuing on the leopard pattern. We'll see. I'll get warmed up on the black parts, and then maybe we're going back to the leopard pattern if I feel warmed up enough. So yeah, as always, if you have any questions, this is meant to be a bit of a Q&A session too. So yeah, just feel free to ask anything you want to know. As you can see, we had a couple of people pledge on Patreon not too long ago. Still on the screen there. So thanks for that, guys. I don't know if you're here. Yeah, the watt will stay up correctly enough compared to most people. Okay, where are you from then? Just out of curiosity. And yeah, today I uploaded, or actually yesterday, or was it today? Well, tonight I uploaded the requested video to Patreon about the very basics of my painting. So paint consistency, brush control, layering and glazing, and how they relate to brush control. So maybe that's interesting to some of you as well. Right, so let's continue on this. Spain, okay. Britons and Americans pronounce it really most of the time. Yeah. I mean, I took some Italian at school, so I like Roman languages. Is it? Do you call them Roman languages? Right, so one more thing that I need let's start with this, whatever it is, ghost white. I think that's gonna be good enough. Don't want to go all the way to white, but obviously I just need a highlight color for those reflections, those very reflective areas of the black. Yeah, English kinda doesn't have the maybe I'm talking out of my butt, but yeah, the melodics that some of the other Roman languages have. Yeah, PalCam is, I think it's, you know, since a lot of color preparation just happens on the palette, I think that's why it's really, really important to have a palette cam. Let's see, maybe we're going to take an in-between gray for the sake of being able to show that a bit better. Leather white, no, that's not really what I'm looking for. Maybe it works. Oh, actually it works. More from the intermediate gray and not leaning towards blue. Yeah, this is really a blue to start off of. Anyway, let's just cover this area quickly. So this is all black base coat, or just black base coat, and I'm just tinting the base color a tiny bit towards blue. Always makes for a bit of a more interesting black. We just need some of the black to shine through to give the impression of a black surface. Kind of annoying. I need a bit of a different background, since the black background always swallows anything that is black on a miniature. But I haven't really found an appropriate one so far. I've been setting out to find some gray paper backgrounds, but all I could find was sparkling gray paper. You know, of the ones that were darker, and the other ones were too light, really. But we'll see. Hey Bloobity Bloob. I want to show you how I leveled up my painting using your videos. I can show you an imagery link imagery link that is of a miniature I painted in 8 hours. Yeah, sure, go on. Hey Stomper MML, not sure why, but wait, I can see that. Not a fan of this model, however, I can wait to see yours finished. That's fine. To me, it's something I can paint for fun. Just have a quick go at it. Yeah, it's a silly model, but it's still technically well executed, I would say. I like the pose, the dynamics, and how everything fits together. It works really well in that regard. Let's see, you know, here just, oh my god, I tried that before streaming and it worked perfectly. Of course now it doesn't, but yeah, here it just fits in perfectly, so that's not going to be a hassle when gluing it all together. Yeah, I can't really complain. It's just going to be a quick paint job. Let's see, so it was requested that I show my way of painting black again, or the black that I used, or the way that I used to paint black in my Black Templar video. So what I'm doing is I'm just sketching in the highlights with a gray, so just using black and mixing in some neutral gray. To create those areas that should be lighter. Just setting up the first layer of that. And I guess I want a secondary light down here. I'd love to get your critique on stream. Yeah, sure, go on. So basically what I'm doing here, and you can technically do that with other colors too, to create gradients, you can first paint everything in black and white and then just glaze over everything using the color you want to tint your yeah, whatever armor or whatever you're going to do in that color. Okay, so this is probably not going to be super precise, but it's going to illustrate what I want to do. Which color fits turquoise and bronze? Well, I'm assuming turquoise and bronze are well, bronze is kind of orange, so that's already a teal and orange contrast, which always works. I think I should do a video on that. I mean, the question is, it depends on your model. So what I did with my blue and, or orange and teal contrasts, I tried to keep the other colors a bit, can you say that, a bit more muted? Anyway, I think as long as the orange and teal contrast is the most dominant contrast in there and the other colors kind of fit together, so I tried to keep the other colors a bit more pastel, not as intense. So here this turquoise blue, some white, some black, and yeah, this off-white color, and then just repeating the pattern on the actual robot itself. And then obviously there's other elements that I felt like, yeah, would make sense to have a bit of a neutral color. It's yeah, a desaturated green and a beige to go with them, but I guess if at this point it would have made sense, or yeah, would have made sense for the setting or the character, that these clothings and items would be colored different, then I would just do that. I'm not a huge color theory guy. I treat a lot of my stuff a bit like historical figures. I don't go out there and try to create pieces of art where the composition itself speaks to you and tells a story and so on. That's not really my style of painting, so I wouldn't worry too much about color theory if you just want to create solid, interesting miniatures. Of course, if you do more fantasy miniatures, and you want to tell a story and you want to have atmosphere in there, you can definitely use that as an additional contrast or an additional way to push the human eye towards the face. I mean, it's the same thing with, you can definitely also blur out some areas and just have the areas that you want people to look at more defined. So yeah, I mean, you can do that, but you don't have to, you know. Well, this is not a German stream, so I'm talking English. If you want to ask me again, you can always join the Discord, and then I can answer questions in German off stream when I find the time. Hey Alessandro, how's it going? Oh, sorry, I'm speaking German. Well, German is my native language. Because I'm from Austria. I'm building my AdMech army and I wanted to do bronze and turquoise. I see. So I don't know what to do with the energy weapons. Yeah, So, hey Geezer UK. The little Travarian pin detail. Yeah, that was some interesting detail. That I kind of had that idea, or had the idea to do that when I started sculpting that. So what I'm trying to do, I'm going to, it's not going to be this one, but I'm going to paint a Crimson Fist Marine with a with an energy coil of the plasma weapon. And I thought about doing it. So obviously Crimson Fists have red and blue, so it sort of is an orange and teal contrast, you know, if we stretch it out a bit. So what you can try to do is use either a color that already is there, so maybe a lighter blue or a lighter orange. That's what I'm planning to do. So I'm probably going to do mine orange or red. We will see. I thought about doing it either blue or orange, just a different tone, so you kind of keep the consistency with paint. You don't add another color, but yeah, I mean, it's up to you. You can definitely also add a green plasma coil. It depends. A lot of stuff can work. Orange and teal, if you use the contrast. Like I said, I kind of tried to stick to it through the miniature, so I had the teal, the blue color in there again. But then, you know, eventually you run out of colors if there's so many different elements there. Are you going to, you know, for the sake of not using any other color that might not be fitting 100% into a triad or whatever? Are you going to drop these colors or not use any colors on these panels just because you want to stick to the triad or the duality? You know, don't get too hung up on that. You're never going to finish a model. Obviously, I'm exaggerating. Let's see what case God did. I need to set up my... I need to set up my screen again. I haven't really captured browser windows like that for a long time. Okay, there we go. Does this get bigger? Probably not. Okay, so yeah, like the colors work together pretty well. And I like how you did the face being the focal point. What's kind of distracting is all the stuff in the background, so it's hard to focus on the miniature. Let's see. Okay, here it's getting a bit better. Ooh, that was good timing. Camera just shut off. Yeah, a bit hard to tell. You have a little bit washed out through the camera. This is getting better. Yeah, I like the color intensity up here and how everything is drawn to the face that way. What did you use to create the goo here? Yeah, you definitely need to work on your picture taking. It's kind of hard to tell, you know. Here the forehead looks extremely highlighted, which would also work, right? When it really isn't all that much contrasty. Yeah, but still looks good. Nice work. Congratulations. Let's see. Hey Flickster. It'll be interesting to see you take. Oh, his own. Okay, I see. I haven't seen that. I need to check that out then. I'm just going to go for a more standard color scheme, probably. This was more of an experimental model where I tried to start from a from a darker blue, I want to say. Yeah, so we're probably going to be heading in the direction of this. Maybe go a bit lighter, like here on the front. So just experimenting a bit with this. And I also experimented with purple and red washes. So we'll see. I need to make up my mind about it. And it's definitely going to be an heavier than metal video too. Oh, thank you, Jeezer. What are my thoughts on the Sanguinius model that just got released? I can't really think about it. I have no picture of it in my mind at the moment. Sorry about the camera quality. Contact glue. Frankly, I've never known how to take pictures. Contact glue for the goo. I see. Gerald the Demon, thanks for joining the Major League. Welcome to the stream. Oh yeah, guys, if you're new to the stream, don't forget to follow. It's free and it helps, you know, and maybe you want to come back eventually. Oh yeah, and if you want to get notified when I go live, I always post it on my Discord, so. But you know, the schedule stands for now with Monday streams, and every other Friday we're going to try and have an upload to YouTube, and then obviously there's the Patreon content each month. So let's continue here. Kind of got caught up in a lot of things, and yeah, what I'm doing is I just gradually add highlights. Dapwell, thanks for joining the Major League. Welcome, welcome once again. Right, and the idea here is to you know, you can definitely also use scratches, just lines that are bleeding over into the other layers to yeah, make it look more drawn together and more realistic. Right, and we're just going to go higher and higher with this. And here I'm moving a bit slower than in the video. In the video I just tried to do 2 layers. Hey, where's my gray? Okay. All has been used up. Also, there's going to be a podcast, and it's probably going to take the slot of one of the Friday releases. We'll see if it's maybe additional, but there's going to be months where it's going to be additional content, and then there's months where it just has to take the slot of a release. Because obviously I cannot do Patreon and be super consistent on YouTube and do my sculpting commissions and all that. So in an ideal world I would just upload everything to YouTube, and then I would have, you know, enough patrons to to make a living, to just pay the rent and buy the food, but unfortunately it's not working that way. Tried and it didn't work, unfortunately, but that's okay. Right, so here we go. Maybe push forward a bit faster here. You can always go back in and tone down a layer when it's too steep. Okay. Oh yeah, and also, of course, Twitch Prime is free if you have it available. And if you subscribe, you can link up your Discord with Twitch, for example, and get access to the monthly PDFs. I also made them available that way for Twitch subscribers. Okay. Let's see, maybe a bit of pure white just in some areas, some dots to increase the contrast here. It's all going to be toned down anyway. Maybe the bounce light can be a bit lighter. Oh, here's a picture. Thank you, Cujo. How much is it? And is it... Wait, that's not Forge World, is it? Yeah, that's pretty good, I would say. I'm gonna have to see the casts or the unpainted version. But maybe I'm going to actually... Maybe I'm going to try and paint one. But this looks like Forge World. Is it Forge World? Will we ever find out? Hey, Wydao? I hope that's pronounced correctly. His arms seem odd. Yeah, the one that's bending like that, like bending down. Okay, where was I? I forgot what I have on the brush, so might as well clean it. Said it was gonna do the bounce light, I think. So I'm just going to make that a bit more intense. Again, just stippling on. And this highlight color. Hey Dirty Brushes, how's it going? It's more like he slipped than attacking. Yeah, yeah, I'll have to look at it after the stream a bit better. Or a bit more intense, a bit longer. So then after this is done, what I'm... Obviously here you can already influence how smooth your results are, but once we add the washes or the glazes, well, it's more like a glaze consistency. It also depends how you can use more layers or less layers. It's obviously going to influence the quality and the end result. How many thin layers you use, but basically what I do now is just glaze over. I mean, it's a mix of a glaze and a wash, right? And hopefully once that is dry, you will be able to see that everything gets blended together a bit better and the whole thing becomes more interesting. I guess it's maybe tough to see on... now you can see it. So the highlights up here get a bit of a blue tint and everything gets drawn together. Obviously this is a bit of a smaller surface than what I was using on the Space Marine Captain. But yeah, just adding 1 or 2 glazes of that. And obviously the black still kind of stays black because it's a very thin glaze on top of black. and everything else gets tinted and drawn together. So when you apply a wash like that on a very, how can we illustrate that? A very dark and a very light color, so the intensities are like that. What it does is brings up the lower color a tiny bit, and it brings down the highlight color, and everything is a bit closer together. So obviously that's just a just an approach to illustrate that. Okay, and then if you feel like your black is not intense enough, you can always take glaze consistency and just work over those black areas again. Bring that back out. Just the same way as we did the highlights, we can always go back in and darken the darker areas, the shades. I think this model would look cool with a fiery base with some object source light from the fire. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I just want to quickly paint that one up. I have a second one that I'm going to invest more time into. I thought about doing some complementary color contrast with yeah, interesting. Haven't decided yet, but I'm going to do the black armor being reflective of some object source lighting down here. Someone made, what did they do? I don't know, just making it make it a bit more like he's on stage, and you know, light effects going off, something like that. Okay, more black, more intensity of the black. It's based on this. What is that? Oh, yeah, it could be. Definitely. It's also the way that the wings bend. Who is that again? The Archangel whatever. Can't remember at the moment. The Archangel of being a badass. Oh, demonetized. Damn. Right, so we have the highlight showing, and then as it curves down, the intensity of black. I think I want the black that is more shiny. I don't have one. I only have the scale 75 black at the moment. But sometimes especially for these things, I feel like while it's still shiny, it looks a bit, yeah, you can see it now. It looks a bit dull now, I think. Definitely want some shiny black in there. I need to buy one, let's see. Probably just going to buy a Games Workshop one. But yeah, that's it. That's the principle. You can always vary. If you paint more gray here, the blue will come out even better. But I just want the subtle color change. Also here I have that blue in there, right, just for the highlights, and then as you turn it, it just becomes black again. So just that the black tones aren't as boring. See, that worked pretty well. I'm going to do that again. Why am I going back to my highlighting and layering? Let's see, mix it up. Gabriel, could be, yeah. Hi, welcome, Dapwell. Okay, let's find an interesting area. I think this is an okay area. See here, I'm almost too. Yeah, that's too much of a step, I feel like, right away. Let's maybe tone that down. And yeah, I feel that secondary lights or bounce lights always help to create interesting blues. I'm sorry, interesting blacks. Let's do some edge highlighting while we're at it. Wish my computer was a bit more silent. I hope it's not too disturbing. And yeah, I just want to find a balance between being decently fast and getting a decent result too. So that's my goal here. Okay, it's okay. Thanks for telling me. So many computer fans. Yeah, there's one thing, my computer is really old, and one of the fans of the graphics card already broke. It was just rattling furiously. So what I was trying to do is I stuck a bit of epoxy clay on the middle of the rotating part of the fan, and it stabilized it. It's yeah, pulling down, it's adding weight, it's pulling down a bit, so it stabilized the fan again, and then it calmed down again. That was like 3 years ago. Well, I don't want to jinx it, but it's still holding. Yeah, I really need a new computer, but I also want to get a standing desk, most of all because working on the videos, just editing videos all day, shooting videos, streaming and all that, it's been really a strain on my back, and back problems have been getting worse, so I need to counter that in any way possible, and health has to go first, obviously, so probably going to get a standing desk before I get a new computer. Let's see, I guess this is an edge that we can highlight or should highlight. Yeah, totally looking forward to go to the gym afterwards. I'm kind of happy with how much work I've got done yesterday, for example. So finished that one Patreon video about the basics, and then I also did my overlay for the podcast. But yeah, yesterday was a day where I didn't do any sports at all, so I kind of want to go to the gym today to make up for that. Since I had that much progress yesterday, I think that's fine. Out of curiosity, do you also have an army that you play with? No, I don't have an army. It's not so much the, well, it's two things. I don't really like to play games because they just take too long. I don't, if I'm going to play a game, and I did play Confrontation, for example, and if I'm going to play a game, then I'm going to play a kill team. I definitely wanted to have a kill team army, but skirmish games, I'm definitely interested in those, simply because I don't have that much time. But yeah, I have a couple of Confrontation quote-unquote armies, because I mean, obviously that was a skirmish game, so it's more like a war band. But yeah, I prefer painting. If I had to choose between playing and painting, obviously it would be the painting. And yeah, the second thing is I can't really get myself to paint the same model twice in the same scheme. Does that make sense? That's just boring to me personally, right? I mean, I guess everyone who has been painting an army eventually encountered the problem that, I just have to force myself to finish that because it's the 100th model with the same color scheme that I'm painting. I'm pretty sure I'm not insulting anyone if I say that anyone or everyone has been at that point, like once in a while. Necromunda is fun. Yeah, I also have a Delac army, well, warband ordered, so we'll see what comes out of that. Kill team will be my entry to tabletop. Well, you haven't played any tabletop at all before? But yeah, come to think of it, since you only just started painting miniatures like two years ago, that makes sense. There's a big cash barrier. Yeah, that's true also. I don't really want to spend that much money. But a kill team, you can... So I also thought about doing a kill team series on YouTube, because that's always kind of fun to follow what people are doing with their kill teams. But I still need to decide whether or not I'm going to go through with my Gene Stealer kill team. I kind of wanted to paint a kill team entry for the Golden Demon. That's why I got myself. What is it? Yeah, the Gene Stealers. I have a lot of them because I really like the models and I would like to paint them. But I don't know if I want to paint that many. It seems like you have to use a lot more models for 100 points or 200 points than you would probably be painting Space Marines. We'll see. Yeah, the Delac warbands, I just like I think they are not really traditional Delac characters or style that they had initially, but I really like the long alien style with the cloaks. Yeah, just the coldness of the appearance and the mechanical parts and all that, kind of like, yeah, I'm just going to murder you on the spot. Ooh, demonetized again. As someone who plays orcs, I know what you mean. Horde armies are the worst for that. Yeah, exactly. Cash barrier, welcome to Games Workshop. Played Battlefield Gothic and Necromunda when I was like 13, and nothing in the recent years. I'm trying to remember when I last played Confrontation. I think that was 2008 or maybe 7. I wanted to say 2009, but I think that's not really true. I think I was Confrontation. I think I won the Confrontation Championship in Austria in 2007. Just because they gave, for the overall winner, they gave they had a painting category too, and I was first in the painting category and like 7th in the tournament out of maybe, I want to say 40 people. But the painting just pushed myself to being top 1 overall. So yeah, that was fun. Because like I said, I'm not really super into gaming, and I wasn't really a power gamer in anything I played. But that was interesting. Wow, okay. Pop Cavill, thank you for your $30 pledge. And yeah, for those curious, $30, that's a lot of money. That's the feedback pledge, so you can get 40 minutes of feedback on top of all the videos and all the content that is on Patreon. So yeah, thanks again, Bob Cavill, and make sure to contact me, you know, preferably on Discord, when you want to do your feedback session. I play orcs. I have so much to paint, but it's fun. It's a fun army to paint. Yeah, I guess it's kind of similar to the recruit stuff that I painted, where you can just put on. Where is it? Oh, it's buried back there. Whoa. And I kind of just took inspiration from what I would probably do with orcs, is that you can just slap on so many armor plates on green skin and just do all the freehands in the world. Would probably not do all these freehands on every model, but just mixing together all colors possible, like reds and greens and yellows, and you know, just all these intense colors. I think orcs would definitely be something that I'm interested in. Too little space on my table. Right. I will not deny they are much fun to convert and paint. Yeah, exactly. Just, you know, slapping bits on all day. That would definitely be fun. Never-ending army. What is the detail on the back of his right leg? Ah, this here? Yeah, that's some strap. Some leather strap. I don't know. It's probably meant to hold the cover of the pelt here in place. I don't know. It's probably something. Wait, do they have a picture on here? I think it's only on the back of the packaging. Let's see, I have that here too. Yeah, so it's on the old model too. Right, it's here as well, and yeah, it's just some detail that the sculptor thought would look cool, I guess. No idea. Just something that they wanted to put on there. Right, I think I'm just going to sketch in all the black areas, just so that I can move forward with the highlighting, and so I can have everything. Wow, words hard. Yeah, so I can highlight everything and that everything is up to the same level, so I can see the contrast and what I need to still push compared to other areas and so on. So let's just quickly fill in all the black and highlight it. Then I can decide whether or not I want to go any darker with the blues. Or lighter, or whatever, whichever way to go. Did you see the new Sanguineous model? Yeah, we just talked about it. It would be cool to see me painting it. It would probably be a nightmare for myself, at least, because there's so much armor detail. But we'll see. We'll see. I mean, the thing is, there's already so much. And you know, obviously when I'm painting something, I have to, you know, on camera, I have to use the footage for either Patreon or YouTube, and there's already so much non-metallic metal stuff on my Patreon because I painted that a lot lately, so I don't know if I want to do that. But yeah, also who is it? Andy Wardle, maybe? Already painted something that kind of resembles the same style that they did, and I felt like I would be compelled to do something similar. But then again, like I said, it already has been done by at least 2 people, because I'm pretty sure they somewhat took inspiration from Andy's version. And also then there's the question of how expensive is it. I'm kind of staying away from spending $100 on a single model, and I'm pretty sure it's in that ballpark. Maybe 90 to 100 euros if it's Forge World. Don't actually know if we can still order Forge World stuff from your local Games Workshop, but then there's also shipping and all that. Yeah, we'll see. Also, I need to be looking into my Golden Demon entries for this year, and I don't really have good question, what category would that be? I'm not sure if it would be single model, more like 40k monster. But yeah, it's definitely an interesting model. Wow, I really need to work on my background there. I'm trying to hold it like this so that my hand is creating a barrier between the blacks on the model and the background. Okay, gluing on the head first was not a smart idea. Just paint Sanguineous. Yeah, but so there's one problem. I can't really paint all of my Golden Demon stuff on camera, simply because it's when I paint for the camera, my paint jobs suffer. Obviously, they're not up to what I can do if I can hold the model like this with my magnifying glasses. You know, that's a way more delicate and skillful paint job and result, way more polished. So I don't. It's almost makes no sense to go to a Golden Demon with a model that I painted on camera, because that's like running or trying to run the 100 meters on the Olympics, and I don't know, carrying a ball around that has significant weight that's weighing you down. Does that make sense? I guess it does. And I need to do monthly content for the Patreon, obviously, because people are paying for it and rightfully want to see something back for that money. Okay, let's think about this quickly. What else do we need? Do we want black? I think I'm going to do these, maybe pink or maybe in the zebra look, the elbow guards, and do the further down parts black. So this, then definitely this. Okay, if you had the idea of a monster and such for your entry, you could go for some Chaos War Machines. The Scorpion or Lord of Skulls have some armor plates that you could really do justice. Yeah, sure. There's so many models out there that I would like to paint, but I have to. So first of all, I'm aiming for the single miniature categories, and I have an entry for fantasy single, obviously, with the Griff Charger, and I have dual finished. So what I'm trying to do first is paint up a 40K single entry, and I'm probably going to use the footage. I'm going to film selective footage of that, and I'm not going to be filming everything, but what I want to do is a video about quote unquote how to win a golden demon, and what you have to take care when you are preparing an entry, when you're painting an entry, and so on. And then maybe take that take that as a poster boy for the video. We'll see. That's what I have planned. I have so many plans, unfortunately. Like I said, my time is stretched thin over a lot of projects, so I don't know if everything can be realized. But yeah, I'm trying to do a 40K single entry and just make sure that that is as neat as possible and following the necessities of what you need to do to win at a golden demon. Yeah, then that's 3 entries, and then I'm going to think about one more that I maybe convert and have fun with. And that can be really anything. I thought, like I said, about doing, because obviously there's less competition in the squad categories, thought about doing a kill team with my Gene Stealers. We'll see. There's so much stuff that I can do or could do. In the end, it just has to be something that strikes me as, yeah, I'm going to have fun with that, because in the end that's the goal. You kind of, or for myself at least. I mean, sure, it's awesome if you can win something, but if I'm putting 100 hours into a model and I hate it, then I don't care about the win either, because that's 80 hours or 100 hours of my precious lifetime spent miserable, and I don't really want that. Couldn't care less about that. Then I'd rather sculpt something, you know, It's, yeah, if I wanted to, I could probably have like double the golden demons that I have right now, but I just stopped. I hated what I became when preparing for golden demons, because I got so competitive. And I saw it last year too, right? When my new stuff didn't win anything, and I thought like, okay, that was a bit of a wasted trip. And then my old stuff won. That kind of put me in a bad place. So I really don't want to be there. It's not a fun place where I go when I become too competitive for competitions. Hey da, Marine. Go for an orc vehicle with lots of freehand plates, like you said. Yeah. I need to look into that. Vehicles are always, they feel a bit like they put me back into my model kit building days. It's not really what I consider miniature painting to be, and I know I'm weird, so I have all these quirks, you know. But it comes down to, I need to do what is fun most of all. But I'm definitely going to look into what vehicles are available for orcs, because that's a good idea in general. Just having something that you can go crazy on with freehands. And you know, freehands are not, you don't need to paint freehands to win a golden demon. But if you can put freehands on something where it makes sense, like my old Krieg diorama that won a golden demon last year in Germany, that was 9 years old, that kind of made all the sense in the world to have a standard bearer there, and that freehand on the flag just made sense. But it wasn't the centerpiece, it was just additional, you know, showing that you can paint. And yeah, it worked. Just painting freehands for the sake of painting freehands is usually not a great approach, but like that it worked. Just to know, do you think it's better? Well, better is so relative in that regard, in anything with miniature painting, because you just paint whatever you find is fun for you. Don't be motivated by outside pressure to do whatever, because then you're going to not be painting what you like and what you enjoy, and that kind of sucks. Like I said, it's you can get easily placed in a bad spot. So personally, I prefer to paint non-metallic for two reasons. Or let's start with one reason. I don't know if I can come up with another reason. But for me, painting metallics, I do enjoy the results, and I'm definitely going to paint my next Space Marine in metallics, just to mix it up once in a while and to see what we can do with metallics. So yeah. Nenep89, thanks for joining the Major League. Welcome to the stream. Again, guys, don't forget hitting the follow button if you're new here. Costs nothing, helps me out, and yeah, reminds you that you can come back next time. But yeah, the reason why I prefer non-metallic is that painting with metallics, even though I enjoy how it looks in the end, painting non-metallic actually feels like painting to me. Doing metallics that are looking good feels more like applying technical paints. So for example, when I'm doing metallics, I'm applying a base coat, then I'm applying the washes to dull everything down. Let's see. Where are you? Here it is. So yeah, good looking metallics take some time to paint. And yeah, when I'm doing metallics, like I said, I'm applying the base color, then I'm applying the washes to simulate rust or black metal, and then I have to work on the edges again and put in the scratches, and then I'm washing over that again. So it's a multi-layer process until I'm happy with metallics. So that feels a bit more like technical paint, that feels a bit more like modeling, if that makes sense. But yeah, just using non-metallic paint. Obviously that's just gray paint and black paint and white paint, and maybe a blue here and there. So yeah, that just feels like layering and the painting that I want to do. That's the reason why I prefer non-metallic metal. But I also like the results of metal. For me it kind of depends whether or not, do I want a really polished result or do I want a bit more of a gritty result. Obviously for Nurgle, for example, it was an interesting experiment to do non-metallic copper on this guy. Where's my focus at, by the way? Is it down here? Yeah, so like I said, it was interesting to experiment with copper on this guy, but then I had to make everything dirty, and then you kind of lose the effect of non-metallic metal because you need the contrast, and if you put some verdigris on this, it swallows the midtones and it swallows the dark tones most of all, and your contrast gets lost, and that kind of takes away from the overall result and the contrast that you need to simulate non-metallic, to simulate metal with non-metallic paints. What about elementals, as in using a miniature with fire that can show skill, etc.? I'm not sure what you mean. What was that in regards to what? Like showing light and how you... I don't know. Could you explain again, Flickster? To separate yourself. Well... you were saying the non-metallic effect, then manipulating that. You're losing me again. Are you saying to separate yourself from the others on a competition? Thank you, Geezer. I'm really glad to hear that. It's that others, you know, take inspiration, take motivation from my painting, and maybe learn a thing or two. So thanks for that. It's always good to hear that. Here's my attempt at a plague bearer. Oh, that's nice. Is that? It's a bit hard to tell because my other monitor is a bit small. Is that's metallics, right? Yeah, looks good. I like how you added the copper effect, so the orange tone to that to those metallics. Okay, so I'm saying you were thinking about ideas from competition that you haven't really thought about. The non-metallic is awesome, so I was wondering if you could use elemental aspect. I'm also suggesting it's selfish as I'm about to do if I have no clue where to start. So I think, okay, well, basically, when I say competition, the only competition I'm really interested in going to is a Golden Demon. and I feel like that's not what you need for a golden demon. What you want for a golden demon is more like this. Well, let's say less of this, where you're trying to put 1000% into every detail, and then it's super busy. But you know, you showed that you can do rust, that you can do verdigris, you can do tentacle texture, you can do little stuff like all the lines here on the teeth. They have, you know, 3-4 ridges, and that's on a millimeter. And then yeah, all the little teeth here and the scratches that are down to perfection, to the 1/10 of a millimeter and all that. When overall it's too busy, and I think they just looked at it and they were like, busy, can't read that. And then they're taking something like that is clean, no big shenanigans, just clean base coats, clean highlights, ideally add some edge highlights. Can't find a mistake because nothing is too out of the ordinary. You know, do nothing that can be interpreted as a mistake. And when you do object source light, for example, and that reflects on texture, so it's a bit more dotted, then that's not a smooth gradient, you know, could be viewed as an error. You don't want to do these things. Obviously you have to get notified or noticed in the cabinet, so you kind of have to maybe add a contrast that is interesting, but then it comes down to how clean is the execution, how easily readable is it, do they understand what's going on. So yeah, you don't really want to go overboard with something, because then it might be getting picked out and be noticed. But when they look at it and it's too busy and my head hurts with everything that's going on there, they just put it away again and give you like a commended. And that's it. Of course, the other option is to throw on to a huge display base as many figures as you can, theme it like Korn, Nurgle, whatever, just give it a theme, and then it doesn't matter how well they are painted. You know, paint it to like 60-70% of your standard, but just throw everything on there and have everything scream Warhammer. Yeah, that's the best way to win a Slayer sword, at least at the moment. It's not about, you know, in the end it's a Games Workshop competition, and you want them to be able to identify Warhammer with your entry. That's more important than the painting aspect. That's why I always said Golden Demons are not really about the best painting. They are more about the best representation of the lore and all that. You know, not always, and it depends what else is there, who's showing up, what entries are there. Obviously, if there's no such thing as an entry in your category that's just saying, yeah, Warhammer in your face, and also I spent 3,000 euros on this entry. Also, speaking about Games Workshop has been coming back to me, and I was trying to get an interview with Max, and I don't know, I am probably mispronouncing his name, Max Valage. I don't know how to pronounce that. Sorry, no offense meant. And he wanted to do an interview for my video, for the How to Win a Golden Demon video, and he said, yeah, cool, let's do that. Just have to ask my higher ups, and they took about 7 weeks to get back, and to just say no, can't do. That was great. But yeah, that would have been an interesting video. Unfortunately, it's never going to happen. Maybe they're going to pick up the idea and going to do it on Warhammer TV. Can I sue them then? Do I sell my work? I do sculpts, and you can buy my sculpts. For example, this is a sculpt by me. You can buy copies of my releases. This is also sculpted by me and painted by me. But I don't really sell my painted stuff, no. I also don't really do commission painting. Simply because I want to be able to paint what I want to do. Because I kind of lose interest in things that I don't really want to paint. So yeah, also I don't have no time between Patreon and sculpting commissions. I mean, obviously if someone was to offer me a price that I can't refuse for anything, then I would probably sell, but I don't really plan to selling much of my stuff. Obviously also, if it's something interesting, someone would approach me and say, would you paint a figure X for this and that amount? And I also find it interesting, then maybe. But I usually don't sell my paint shops, no. I understand. I love that bust, so awesome. Thank you, Napster. It's unlocked. I still can hardly believe that cloth on your road, guys, isn't actually real. See, that was fun when these guys were quote-unquote reviewing my bust on that podcast that I don't remember what it was called. They were like, yeah, you know, I got that bust and it's a robot, it has clothing on, yeah, clothing on a robot, haha, and that's it. And I was like, yeah, okay. Thanks for talking about it, guys. So I find that, or I consider that a success, because it's something that's out of the box, and I'm not the most innovative sculptor when it comes to designing stuff or designing. I'm always more like realistic leaning. That's what I'm trying to say. And so having stuff that is out of the box kind of feels like a success for me. Because like I said, my designs usually are a bit more leaning towards being realistic, and yeah, so when I have a bit of an outlier, then that's good success. So yeah, I'm pretty happy how that bust turned out. Guess that's what I'm trying to say. Hey, Miss Half Damage. Yeah, thank you, Napster. It's of course available through Mr. Lee. So if someone types exclamation mark Mr. Lee, that brings up the link to the store. Obviously, it's also below the stream window. You can also find all my social media stuff below the stream as well. Hey Krivoruchki, thank you. How's it going? Haven't really been able to watch you. Have you been streaming at all? I don't actually know. Nowadays I just open whatever stream or radio station I can find while I'm working on something, usually editing videos. So I'm not really an active consumer of content at the moment. More like passive. Okay, I feel like this could be wider. Maybe that's a bit too wide. Yeah, just trying to find the pacing here with the black. And how much room we still need. How much room I apply. On how much space I do apply all the layers. Wow, words hard. Best sculpture from me, I guess, is the Joker. Yeah, thank you. There's still a couple of those for sale. I need to put a post about that up on Facebook. And yeah, that was really an enjoyable sculpt. It was done in didn't take all that long because I had a clear vision of what I wanted to do, and that's always good. It's always fun. If you don't, you know, it doesn't feel like a grind when you're sculpting something. Also, that has been pretty successful on YouTube. You know, at least in my little 14K subscriber pocket. So I think it's about to hit 100,000 views this or in the next few months. Which, having that little subscribers on YouTube kind of is an okay success. I am streaming, okay. Yesterday on stream and did part of this miniature. Okay. Oh, is that don't remember. Is it Zombie Side? I don't know what the zombie game is called. I'm so out of the loop with everything. Okay. Zombie Side. Don't know if this makes sense. I kind of want a secondary light. That shape. So yeah, we are thinking about whether or not we should stream the podcast on Twitch. I mean, it's going to be up on YouTube in any case, but we have been considering also streaming it on Twitch before, so that we can collect a few questions and then answer them maybe on stream. But I don't know if I want to do that. I mean, honestly, if there's only like 20 viewers and then no one asks a question, it feels awkward. So I don't know. We're still considering whether or not to stream the podcast or just record it. Haven't really made up my mind about that yet. I feel like that's not looking too great. Lurking. Is this Thousand Suns? I mean, it is a Slaanesh Space Marine, a Noise Marine, so technically I think you could say he is. But it's the Noise Marine, what is it, the was it I actually don't know why they redid that. Just some nostalgic revival of this old miniature. There's no, like, it's from 1991, so that's what, 28 years of yeah, not really a god damn it, what do you call it, around birthday. So I don't know why they did it just right now, but they just redid that one sculpt by Jess Goldwyn, I think it was. So yeah, and for me it's an interesting sculpt and a goofy little project to work on. How did you learn sculpting miniatures? H.J. Ross Hook, thank you, just joined. How did I learn to sculpt miniatures? So I started painting miniatures, obviously like everyone else. I had no idea what to do when I started out. So I was dry brushing my first Mage Knight miniatures. Then eventually I found Warhammer, and they were obviously more sophisticated models, and I just preferred to paint these. And then the first plastic stuff came out, or more and more plastic stuff came out, and I felt like I can use this to convert my miniatures. So I resculpted parts of Warhammer stuff, like redid hands and redid heads and all that. And then eventually I thought, I can sculpt complete figures myself, so I started to do that. I foolishly entered one of my sculpts into, or at the Golden Demon, because it was people were doing that all the time for the large scale categories. But obviously, yeah, that just wasn't Warhammer enough for the time, or at that time, for the other categories. Yeah, then just experimented with different scales, and I'm kind of stuck on larger figures, like 54 millimeters and up, or yeah, 54, 70, 75 millimeters, in that range. And also obviously busts. Busts are the most fun because you don't have to do everything, like the whole figure. It sort of is like you were trying to experiment with something, try something new in painting, and then once you tried it, you still have to paint all the rest that you already painted 100 times. And that's not really the fun part. That's where it becomes a chore. So trying to, you basically only need a face to do a character. So to invent a new character, a bust is enough, right? And that's what has been intriguing to me. So that's my journey to sculpting and to the area of sculpting that I'm at the moment. In a quick summary. Okay. Yeah, it still feels hard to see. I want some white, just for the sake of contrast. Looks like glam metal. Yeah, exactly. That's the idea behind it, I think. Obviously with the guitar and all that. I only just now thought about getting rid of all the flames here. Maybe so maybe I have room for a freehand, or free hands. We'll see. I just kind of realized, no, I'm tripping. I want to rock. Alright, well, let's go. Keep on rocking in the free world, as they say. Well, I don't know if Russia counts as the free world though. Right, so as you can see, I'm just hitting those edges with white. Increases my contrast. So let's do that here too, just on the edge. I'm going to drag it over the whole surface here, over the whole reflection. But yeah, it just adds that tiny bit of feeling of a metallic black. I love your work. Just thought I would ask you if you have any tips for me as I'm entering my first painting competition next month. Been painting for about 4 years. Yeah, what do you need? I mean, what advice do you need? I don't really know your painting, don't know what level you are at, what's your style and so on. I mean, painting competitions are so unpredictable because, I mean, in the end there's so many styles there. I guess what you should try to do is do something innovative, something out of the box. You can look at what Tue Kai is doing for his entries for Monte San Savino. That's typically what I would refer to as being very out of the box, very well received. Yeah, just make people notice you. Try to come up with something that will make it stand out. And other than that, yeah, it depends. If Banshee is judging the competition, then you're better off, you know, with a lot of contrast and dramatic colors and all that. And if, I don't know, someone else is judging it, maybe you will be better off just painting smooth gradients. I can't really give any general advice on what to do for painting competitions other than what I just said. But yeah, if you need anything more specific, then sure, just ask me whatever, and I'll try to answer properly. Feel like starting off of a gray without adding too much blue in the beginning is better. Good thing is we can always add the blue later. What camera do I use? DSLR? Yeah, exactly. It's an old DSLR. Can't really afford a 4K camera at the moment. But it's yeah, there's definitely, the plan is to upgrade as soon as possible, but yeah, whenever money allows it. Yeah, the first upgrade will definitely be to get a better background. I mean, the black is definitely better than the white I used, or the green I used before, and I don't want to use white all the way, like others do. But I just need a brighter background to, yeah, so people can distinguish everything a bit better, what's happening on screen. Yeah, we spoke about it, exactly. That's fine, I don't mind answering again. Okay, question is, do I add a bit of highlights somewhere? I guess I do. maybe here, then have a bit of secondary light down there. Use green cutting carbon. Oh yeah, exactly the cutting mat just turn around where it's just green. I remember, but I just feel like the green doesn't really fit. I don't know. I want a more neutral gray, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So that's Cesarean. Oh, Hassan. Okay. Right, so it feels like the black back here is probably going to be obscured by the backpack anyway. So the question is, do we want to spend that much time here? Elgato is better than Remote Pro. Wait, so you mean, did you get a capture card? That's definitely better. It's basically what allows me to stream. I constantly had crashing streams before while I did not have a hardware encoder. When I was using software, I would have probably stopped. I mean, either that or bought a completely new computer. But the Elgato capture card, like I said, is basically what allowed me to stream. Oh, you do use. Oh, you need Elgato because you are using software. I see. Yeah. So before I had about 60, 70, 80% CPU usage. For a while I was down to 15. I don't know why it's now up to 30%, but it's still working. Maybe it's because of other things that I have open, but I only have Discord and stream labels. That's it really. What is happening there? See, I just want to restart one thing, sorry. Capture card takes better resolution. Yeah, I guess. What was the thing that you were using? Remote Pro something? It definitely helps with resolution too. That's weird. Anyway, I really don't know why. Sometimes it doesn't show all the followers, so sorry if I haven't called out your name. Thank you. My style is very focused on airbrushing. Well, I can't help you with that, honestly. I don't airbrush at all. Like Kenny Boucher. Yeah, again, I feel like that's not really the route you want to take for competitions. But it all depends, you know, if it's something, I mean, for example, I'm guessing in the US it's more, airbrushing is more a thing than in the European Union, I don't know, or in the, yeah, in the EU contests. So, I mean, here obviously airbrushing can definitely be a tool that you want to be able to use, but just airbrushing and not putting a brush to it, I feel like that's not the best way to go into a competition. I mean, obviously, if there's only people that airbrush there, and yeah, depending on what the level is and so on. I don't know. I'm always getting slaughtered when I talk about this because people think I am attacking airbrushes, but I'm really not. It's just that most of the time people are not as good to hide that they were using airbrushes. Say for example, let's see, where is it? I have found a good reference that I want to bring up on stream. I don't see many advanced painters using airbrushes. Should I try to learn more advanced techniques like yours? Yeah, you will always. So one thing, when you are using an airbrush, it's going to be visible that you are using an airbrush. So you kind of want to work over that with something, and I'm going to show you an example. Let me find it. Let's see if I can pull that up on stream. So this guy uses an airbrush to get his first gradients done. But I can't find the initial. Did I not save that? That would suck. Crap. Yeah, I did not catch the picture that showed the airbrushing or just the airbrushing. Let's see. I can still look at it with my OBS. So this guy is obviously using an airbrush to put down his initial lights and shadows. But what he does is he does apply washes, and it's not just a wash that covers everything. He selectively applies them. You can see that here, and then into the recesses, and make sure that not a lot of stuff gets stuck on the higher places. And then what he does is he uses the washes in a glaze consistency. Oh, okay, I was on the wrong screen. Let's do that again. So you can see here he uses washes and applies them to the recesses, to the crevices. And then what he also does is he uses washes in a glaze consistency, or you know, the way you would use glazes. And he creates additional gradients. So he shades down here, for example, as this element curves down, and he also creates additional contrast, like here. So he works over his initial airbrushing, and then he continues and goes back in and does highlighting, and that looks pretty good, I think. So you can see here he established additional shadows on top of the airbrushed areas, and then he does edge highlighting and just paints in all the yeah, chips and scratches and all that. Yeah, and then he also does some quote-unquote freehand painting. Obviously it's not a complicated freehand, but still freehand. And yeah, just all of that started off of an airbrush, work. But then he invested the extra time and took a brush, and he obviously knows how to use a brush. And yeah, just worked over that. I hope that explains. Please don't sacrifice me. I did not diss airbrushes. Just because I'm not using an airbrush doesn't mean that you guys can't use an airbrush. I always get misquoted and misrepresented and misunderstood on that. So guys, do me a favor and please don't misunderstand it. It's not what I said. Right. Yeah, I guess that explains my thoughts on that. Where's my chat gone? Oh my god. Yeah, I hope that explains what I mean. But it all depends. If the judge is someone who is, you know, not really competent in any brush work, then yeah, maybe you're going to get away with it, and also what it also depends what the others are bringing to the table. Sorry I missed on chat, let me catch up. Rainer, don't know what you're trying to say. Hey Snick. Hey Ulrich. Only hardcore, only blushes. Yeah, I mean, again, that's just the way that I like to have fun with painting. If you are having fun with airbrushing, then just go for it. You don't, need validation from anyone if what you're doing is fun. And that should be what should be guiding you. I mean, obviously winning at competitions can be good and it's good for your ego, but I don't know, I just try to be more zen in my painting approach. If it doesn't make me happy, then what good is a trophy that I suffered for because I was not enjoying myself while I was getting there. Yeah, and a lot of these YouTube channels, Twitch channels, are also more aimed at getting results done quickly, not necessarily painting something up to a competition standard. I mean, we're going to have a podcast. I'm going to have Anthony by Pirate Monkey Painting here, and we're going to talk about the different, well, that's for the second podcast. First one is going to have another guest, but we're going to talk about that and hopefully shed some light on it, because I mean, Anthony has both experience in competitions in the US and in Europe, so hopefully that's going to be interesting. Well, I know it's going to be interesting, but I hope you are going to find it interesting. Airbrush is a tool like a brush. The point, if you can work on top of the airbrush with your brush. I think I agree. Yeah, it's fine. It's perfectly fair. Personally, again, to just round that out, if I had better space here, if I had a room where I could record and edit videos and have my equipment out all the time, I would probably airbrush more. So that's one aspect, because then I have to put away my compressor and all that, and that's annoying. So if I had that, I would probably airbrush more. But yeah, the second thing is airbrushing it's the same with me not using as many metallics as I use non-metallic. For me, it's more about painting using the actual brush. That's what's fun to me, and trying to get good results with a brush. It's not so much about the results, it's more about the time I spend painting. That has to be enjoyed, or I do want to enjoy that time, and I don't want to spend it cleaning an airbrush and all that. Even though it might maybe get the result more smooth or whatever, that's what I mean with not being result orientated too much. Has it been half an hour again? When is the podcast? I don't know yet. We're going to the first guest that I have is, obviously it's the first podcast, so we are still trying to figure out things, and I'm going to have a test run at the end of this week, and if all goes well, then we're going to do the podcast next week. Not this week, but next week. the first one, and the second one whenever we can make time, Anthony and me. Probably, definitely not within 2 weeks after the first one, but somewhere between after 2 weeks and within 4 weeks. So I'm trying to do 1 per month as a guideline. But again, all of this has to be balanced around my Patreon, the work that I have to do for Patreon and all that, and depending, yeah, everything else has to be done in my quote-unquote spare time or free time. So I can't really, yeah, that's why I didn't have a schedule for the longest time on streaming too, because that's obviously more like a hobby. But yeah, having 1 stream per week definitely works out. And it's also fun, you know, I'm looking forward to doing the stream. Didn't always look forward to streaming when I was doing 4 per week. No, it's okay. I understand your English, don't worry. I get that for sure. I suppose airbrushing has become a bit of a stale for me. I'm not getting the results I see in my head anymore, so I think you're right. I think that's probably what happens there, yeah. I mean, like I said, if you use, no, I don't want to get into it again. But yeah, it could be a possibility. Definitely look into using a brush on top of what you airbrush. 2 months waiting. Oh, okay, from Kickstarter. Yeah, that's, I don't like Kickstarters. I wanted to do a couple of my busts as Kickstarters, but then I refrained from that simply because personally I also don't really like Kickstarters. I don't like the weight, if that makes sense. Okay, really want to work on this leg again. It's kind of distracting because there's so much garbage wrapped around it, so I can really focus all that well on the gradients, but let's maybe restore some of the black. Unfortunately, I must take my leave, but I make sure to watch the VOD till the end. That's cool, thank you. Thanks for popping in, and I hope the explanation was good in the beginning. You're welcome. See you next time. Patience, yeah. I don't really have patience in, other than painting. I'm not really a patient person. I guess painting and editing takes a good bit of patience to edit videos. Wait a second, I realized that I was forgetting to do time to join your Discord. Gotcha. Yeah, I have an Infinity too. It's the most, or how do you say that? So for the amount that I used it, that has been a big investment. It's like $150 per use so far. I've been doing a lot of airbrush work when I was getting ready for the 2013 Golden Demons in Germany. Did a lot of airbrushing back then, but only really applied rust and base coats. But back then I didn't have an airbrush of my own. God damn it. Nothing I do shows on stream. Yeah, I really need a better background. But after that year, I got myself a Hardened Steamback Infinity too. Okay. I think that's subtle enough. Also, one thing that constantly happens at competitions is that you can't really understand why certain models won over others. So that's also why it's sometimes hard to give advice for competitions, because in the end sometimes it is pure luck who wins. Most of the time that is due to not so competent judges. Okay, I think I want to have another element that is pink. Probably going to do this pink, so let's let's see, do I want this pink too? Yeah, I'm just going to try it and see. I can always paint over pink with black in the end. Which pink did we use there? That should be my purple, and then was either of these, probably not this one. Right, I think that's the pink that we were using. Definitely did some ice yellow for the highlights. Conveniently sits here right at the edge. Just to make sure get some of the HD bones. Wait, is bones in general HD? I guess that's it, huh? I haven't really noticed any difference, honestly, between the HD and the normal Reaper colors. I think they are both highly pigmented, so it's kind of funny that they did an HD line. Didn't really have to do that. But it's fine either way. Yeah, I really don't see all that much difference. But that's just means that's a good thing for Reaper, for the Reaper colors. Kind of realized that the Reaper blues are drying satin. That was a bit of a, yeah, that sucks a bit. But it's okay. It's not like every single color dries satin. From my point of view, how do they taste? Or to improve taste? Maybe. From my point of view as a designer, it's often a problem with the jury. What happened there? Oh, dot dot dot. That's interesting. Looks weird on my screen. It's often a problem with the jury. A part is from arts and a part is the money giver, so they have no good view of art. Yeah, that's I can understand that. In the world of designing or designs. I wonder if that's true for miniature painting. Depends on the competition, probably. I guess you can compare that to how Crystal Brush is working with the public vote. And then, for example, I still think there was some shenanigans going on back when Jeremy Bonamont was selling his guides on Coming or Not, and then he won the Crystal Brush 2 with an unpainted backside of a miniature. So I guess you can kind of compare that to money givers. Hey Skull Crusher, what's up? Doing fine. Was actually looking forward to streaming today. I'm not raking in all the greatest numbers, but then again I also did not announce it. Oh wait, we should at least Twitter or tweet. Totally forgot that. Anyway, yeah, I didn't really play the announcement game. I was kind of hoping that people by now know that I'm going live on Monday at the same time. But yeah, it's fun so far. Really? Question mark? Yeah, it's like I said, I mean, obviously don't have proof for that, but it was just funny coincidence. I do have proof for the unpainted backside though. They just didn't take photos of that, but I have definitely seen the unpainted backside. Crystal Brush is a joke. Yeah, I'm going to talk about that with Anthony on the podcast. But the thing is, Crystal Brush has this. I mean, it's a bit like Golden Demons. Crystal Brush has this aura of being the greatest painting competition in the world, but due to multiple factors, it just can't be. And we're going to expand on that in the podcast, so that I have an American backing me up on that. Don't want to disgruntle too many viewers right away. Hey Blind Weeble, just watched your video on blending, learned a lot, and will continue to watch it to drill that process down. That's great. Also, don't forget that you have to practice what you watch too. So I would recommend maybe trying it once before you do it again or watch it again. But I totally appreciate the additional views. Thank you. I only knew you were live because YouTube notified me. Okay. Yeah, also that's why Twitch also sucks for me. But yeah, it's my schedule is I started 2 hours and 8 minutes from now. It's the same time every Monday. Wow, that made sense. But yeah, each Monday I'm going to be streaming starting at 1600 Universal Time. That's all the time zones I know at the moment. I need to put that somewhere, maybe on the Facebook page as a sticky or something. But yeah, I mean, people will pick up on it eventually. confident. I usually don't paint pink, so this is like, pink, yeah, let's just do that. Oh, made a mistake there. It doesn't matter, just paint over it. I can't really take this color seriously. Do you get money for winning a golden demon? No, you get a resin statue. That's worth like maybe $2. Time to add to class. Don't skip class. You can always skip getting a job after you're done with class or with school. But don't, yeah, might as well finish college. Where was I when I needed that advice? Yeah, you do get money obviously for the winner, for winning Crystal Brush. But like I said, I mean, just because you get money doesn't mean you won the best competition in the world, right? It's just a competition with a money prize pool. Is it a cork? No, well, this is wood. You can still see the texture here. It's just, I don't really have it here. It's in the other room. I don't want to stand up at the moment. But it's just something you can get from the do-it-yourself store. It's just as long. It's like a meter or 2 meters actually. It comes in different radius. And I just, you know, saw it off, or I have had a carpenter saw it off. Indistinct. Oh, actually here, yeah, that's it. So I have you know, half of that and double the size. So that's what I was getting from the carpenter. I was a bit annoyed because, I mean, he didn't even charge me for it, but he was like, really, do I have to spend time on that? So in the end, he was nice while being rude, I guess. Okay. Blind Weeball, thanks for joining the Mage League. Welcome to the stream. I also need to paint the apps. I think they are totally showing even after the, yeah, they're showing. I thought they were not really showing, but they are. So let's do that afterwards too. Going to practice some more works. Well, have fun. And thanks for tuning in, and see you next time. That's perfect. That's when I get back from school. Well, there we go. Another happy customer. Maybe that's why people put more value and merit into Crystal Brush, because you get money. Yeah, exactly. It's, well, it doesn't make it any more true. Yeah, if that makes sense. It's the question is, what do you measure, you know, the quality, or what, however you want to call it, of a competition in? Are you measuring it by did the best, or did a paint job win that would be scoring in other competitions, like maybe overseas and so on? Or, you know, is it, I mean, it's the same thing. Take, for example, the Golden Demon competitions, like the miniature or the mini Golden Demons that they had in Nottingham, I want to say. That was like 3 or 4 categories, and it was 4 times a year. Do you really think that people are coming from all over the world to that competition and enter their best work? Probably not. So this is definitely not the toughest and most competitive competition. And I actually recommended people, if they wanted to win a Golden Demon, to go there, because like I said, the competition is not going to be that intense. And eventually it becomes like a local competition with maybe some outsiders showing up a lot of the time, or sometimes. You know, you definitely have to take these aspects into consideration. And I can only speak from experience. I don't have a Patreon that gives me 6,000 euros per month, so I definitely cannot just hop into an airplane and fly over there. So basically you just get people like that can afford it to take the trip. And even within the US, it's not really nothing to sneeze at to drive there for a long time and so on. Yeah. World Expo of Miniatures. Yeah, it's definitely, since it's only like every third year, I want to say people do have the possibility to save up money for it, and also produce some really great stuff, because they don't have that time pressure to attend every year. And it's also not always in the same place, it moves around, so that's a plus too. Best competition is the world, or in the world is the one I enter? No, really. No, it's definitely not. Because I am, again, if I were to paint for competitions mostly, I would switch up my painting style drastically. I would probably switch to a more expressive painting style. Would say my painting style is a bit more traditional. Compared to what is doing good in competitions. I mean, then again, you can also do intriguing stuff with traditional painting styles, but I guess I would have to, you know, do a lot more with sculpting and scratch building, and I don't really have the time for that at the moment. Because usually what wins in European contests has, you know, multiple aspects of skill showing. But yeah, a lot of the time it's also teams, and I don't like that. It's, especially as someone who is able to sculpt and paint somewhat decently, it feels like running against or playing, I don't know, tennis against a team where, you know, I have to invest time into sculpting and painting, where otherwise people, one of them is sculpting and the other one is painting, and they only have to invest like half the time each. Yeah, in general, I don't, again, I'm repeating myself, but I don't like the competitiveness. I just want to paint miniatures and have fun. Hey Morth. I meant in a general sense. I would say the best competition is the one that you prepared for and had fun and meet new people. And the competition that you can leave while not having won anything and still can smile about. That's the best competition. So I got distracted. Let's go back to the pink. I must run now, but I have most enjoyed the stream and will tune in again. Thank you, Giros. Hope I pronounce your name correctly. And see you next time. Thanks for tuning in. Okay, I think I will make an exception here and add some white. Bye. Just to increase the edge highlight here. Let's see, I kind of want to also make this more intense down here. I think that's helping. With contrast. Just going with the overall notion of not, because up here I didn't really use consistent layers, I just stippled on some white. Just want to keep that general notion. Have some pure white. So one thing that's interesting is the inks. And I'm using a white ink as my white, simply because I like the flow and the coverage. But it feels like it's soaking up water through the palette paper so much that it's getting really thinned out, and then it's losing its coverage pretty fast. Is there a secret to glazing pure white Yeah, the secret is don't glaze pure white, because it's not going to look anything good. It's just going to look chalky all the way. I mean, obviously, unless you are maybe doing white and you just want to top. You know, obviously, if you're doing white, you're starting with an off-white and then you're maybe shading it down, because no white really is 100% white. See it just like that. It's not really white as pure pigment. Does that make sense? I don't know, do we have some other white somewhere? I don't know, just take clothing. It doesn't look all the way white. It might be washed out or dirty and so on. So, but yeah, for that you might get away with using pure white for the highlights. Anything like this, I'm just using pure white here because I can put down a dot of white and maybe stipple on a few dots, and then it looks like texture, like rougher texture and all that. So basically it's becoming chalky, but it fits here, right? I don't know exactly what you mean with pure white. Maybe if you give me an example where you're having troubles, I might be able to help out. Hello, I enjoy watching your videos. Thanks a lot. Very helpful. I'm glad they are helpful, honestly. It's always good to hear feedback like that, because then kind of makes everything worth it in the end. Because if people were just thinking, yeah, that's not helpful, screw that, and then why make them? They give a lot of experience and inspiration. Keep it up. Thanks a lot for coming on and saying that. Thank you. So how else do you do it with chalkiness? Just mixing white in your highlight color and then stipple, draw some reflexes. Again, I try to stay away from white as much as possible. So the problem is when you are using white, let's say, I hope this is going to make sense, but it should be. So going from here to here, the intenseness is not as large as going from this to this. This is not actually white. Let's use a pure white to use the extreme example. So you cannot use the same amount of white to highlight this as you were using this, as the amount that you are using from this to highlight this color. You have to reduce it. So that's a general thing. If you need to go to white on any color that isn't an off-white, just use less, right? That's one way to avoid chalkiness. Use less than you were thinking you want to be using, because the pigment is more intense, and every step that you do using white it feels like 3 steps with another color. Here, like I said, if it's a highlight, if you want to just quickly dab on a piece of white, a bit of white to make a light reflex, yeah, fine. But I just stay away from white as much as I can, except for metallics, non-metallics, sorry. Yeah, just in general, off-white colors and like this icy yellow works pretty good. It's here on the palette as a highlight color. But yeah, also since you mentioned it here, I just did put a point or a dot of white here, and that's it. Also on this edge. Everything else is basically mixed with white. Like you can see here, this is my mix, or the mix that I was applying to glaze. The other areas like here. And non-metallics you use off-whites. No, for non-metallics I do use white, because obviously you want as much contrast as possible. Okay, where have we been? I need to figure out whether or not... I think I want to also do the gloves in black, honestly. We could do them in pink. We can always redo it. I'm just going to do it like that and then see whether or not we want to redo it. But I feel like having a good contrast on them will definitely make it look interesting. And with pink we're not really gonna get all that much contrast. I paint miniatures too. The experience of other artists is always helpful. That's true. It gives you a new perspective on a few things. Usually talking to others. And even if you don't agree with anything, the different approach always is interesting to look at. Oh, can't really see what I'm painting here. But yeah guys, if you have any questions, feel free to ask them. Doesn't have to be on topic. As always, oh my god. Hey Melty Mortal, thanks for the rate. How's it going? What did I say? Before you scared the crap out of me. I forgot. Oh yeah, if you have any questions guys, feel free to ask. It doesn't have to be on topic exclusively. The Monday stream is always meant to be, you know, space for people to come in and ask questions or discuss things. Whatever you want to talk about. Tell us what you're working on, etc. It's kind of funny how the alerts sometimes go off and I'm like, what was that again? Because I didn't hear it in so long. Like before with the Patreon notification, I did think during the last few streams we had someone pledge anything. They all were offline pledges. So that was kind of confusing. Noise Marine Pog. A Bob Ross barbecue sauce. Nice name. Okay. It's also time to think about what we want to do with the helmet. Well, I know what I want to do. I'm probably going to go for the zebra scheme that they also used. I don't know where my package is. Oops. but yeah, just going to go for something like that. But I also need a base color that I can later highlight. Oh wait, my chat stopped working. So let's see, I missed some chat, sorry. So in non-metallic metal you would use the white, but how would you do that and avoid chalkiness? One thing is, well, I never had problems with chalkiness in non-metallic, honestly. Where is it? Let me bring up an example, maybe. Can't really find one at the moment. Maybe here. So let's look at that. So the thing is, you are, even though you are using white for the non-metallic metal, you're not really using it all over the place. You're just using a thin line of it. So ideally you paint your brightest reflections with an off-white too, or just white mixed with a bit of the blue tone here in this case. And then on top of that you're putting a white dot. You can also see, for example, down here, I did not really use white on a large surface here. I just used the white for the dot here. You're not supposed to cover everything in white. White is in non-metallic, but pure white is only on edges, because that is, or you know, edges or sharp lines, because the area where you have full reflections, if you look at the theory of why surfaces are reflective, you see how the god damn it, my English sucks. The rays of light get reflected, and only if a ray of light is reflected directly into your eye, then that's what you perceive as white. So for example here, I think this edge, yeah, up here, so there's not a consistent highlight on this edge. There's a dot here that is pure white, and then it's faded out and gets thinner even on the edges. I'm not always using pure white all over the place. You still want to vary it. Hope that makes sense. And I know there's a lot of people that just use white for everything, but that's because they want to have the maximum of contrast. Yeah, it depends on what you want to achieve and what you want your miniatures to look like. Obviously, miniatures with high contrast will always look better to the eye, and especially to people that don't really know what's going on there. But yeah. I mean, that's why this area looks good, right? Because we do have black and white, and that's a maximum of contrast, and that just draws our interest. We perceive that as really, really interesting. Joe's emote is Bob Ross themed. Coincidence? You think not? You think correctly. I sure didn't plan it because I forgot it was a thing. Oh yeah, don't worry, I was also just kidding. We're just discussing some Bob Ross. Okay, interesting. Wait, am I following you? Am I not following you? I have no idea. Weird Twitch interface. Thank you, makes a lot of sense. Yeah, you're welcome. Glad it helped, glad it helped. Subconscious is amazing. Yeah, exactly. So all of these things are really just subconscious tricks your mind is playing on you. I'm so tired. What time is it? It's like, wait, it's midnight there, right? It's, maybe, oh, closing in on 1 in the morning. Okay, question was, are we going to, what are we going to do with this front side? I think I want to paint this in pink. And then maybe have this black. This is probably not going to be visible after the instrument is mounted, the guitar is mounted. Well, we'll see. Getting close to 4 AM. Have my time zones off. 3 damn V. Thank you for joining the Major League. Welcome to the stream. Just want to get rid of some of that paint that crawled into the crevice here. Hey Sanjin. How is life treating you? I'm doing fine. Made some progress on the content, uploaded a Patreon video yesterday. Almost done with editing a second one today, so yeah, I had a good stream so far. A lot of people coming in and chat, keeping me company. Can't complain. Hold up. Sorry for that. My hand is numb for playing games. However, will I paint again? It's going to be okay. You're still young, right? So you can play all the games you want and still paint. Just going to have to sleep it off. Been alright, sick for a while, but fine otherwise. I hope nothing. Sorry. I hope nothing serious. But yeah, usually when I have the flu or just a really bad cold, it takes me ages to get better again. Especially with being self-employed, that kind of sucks because you still have to work. And then, yeah, can't have a day off, really. Okay, let's apply some shadows. I think that's good. Just had a nasty bout of the flu that lasted about 2 weeks. Wow. Yeah, sounds like me. But then again, knocking on wood, ever since I didn't have a teaching job, it's like, what's being sick? I don't know what that is. Every time I started a new term in school, all these little child sicknesses, no, all the bugs that were cultivated in the classrooms, they got me instantly. We can go darker here. My throat is kind of wrecked. What did you do? Oh, because of the flu. Okay. Coughing for a year. I had that when I was, wow, I want to say 14 or maybe 13. So yeah, I was coughing for a year too, and then all of a sudden it stopped and no one knows why. I guess it's just some phases of, yeah, just some phases that you're going through. Okay, let's see. Let's put some dark lighting in here. Maybe use a bit of purple, just for the sake of retaining the color. School is Nurgle's testing round of fun. Yeah, that sounds right. Hello kids, I'm going to be your teacher for this year. Oh my god. It's starting again. Please go away from me. Okay. Edges, focusing on the edges here mostly. Can probably get away with it. Oh, with using a bit of white. Then make this darker. that was too much pure color. Kind of running low on stuff to talk about, so we should maybe do like improv comedy where people are just throwing out random words, like say a thing, say a country, and then see what we can come up with there. I think that's good enough. Let's go and jump in and make this whole thing black, or you know, black blue. Right, so what's everyone else working on? We've had a couple of people show their work in progress, so maybe if you want to share what you're working on, feel free to post the link in the chat. You can always just take a look at it. Just trying to find my highlight color here. So I think this is definitely going to be covered by the guitar, so we don't need to spend that much time on it, just in case, you know, maybe from the other side it's visible. Might as well have it covered. I think that's good enough. Might as well put dots here for highlights. Just roll with the intensity of the black, or the contrast of the black. Food, yeah, I mean, I ate before I started to stream, but I can definitely eat something again by now. Okay, also this edge should probably receive some love. Okay, then we also have to think about what we can do to highlight these, I don't know, spikes, I guess. I wasn't that smart. Okay, I see. Yeah, so I try to not stream hungry because that means I kind of want to end early, and since I'm only streaming once per week, I want to make it to the full 3 hours that I usually stream. But yeah, guys, don't forget to check out my new YouTube videos. Don't forget that there is a new PDF on Patreon, also available to Twitch subs through Discord. So if you're interested in that, you know what to do. Following is free and still helps quite a bit. The more followers, the bigger the numbers, always better. And also don't forget to check out my social media. Usually I'm trying to post something each day on Instagram, not always possible obviously, since sometimes I'm just editing all day and then I can't really paint anything. But yeah, I'll try to do that as much as possible. So yeah, go check it out. Check out all the links there below the stream if you're interested in that. Hey Tyler Rule, how's it going? There is a Sanguinis model. Yeah, there is. We have talked about it a couple of times today. Let's see, do I still have the link somewhere? No, I don't. Wait. Can someone post? So let's see if someone has the link saved. But yeah, the way they were painting it kind of looks like Andy Warhol's Magnus the Red. So yeah, I'm not sure about the paint job. And yeah, I'm definitely considering getting it, but I also don't really know how much it is at the moment. And I don't really want to buy a model that is close to $100. That would rip a bit of a hole into my finances. Don't know what to do here, so I'm just putting on some streaking. Yay, still streaming, indeed. I don't know for how much longer, but we'll see. Chat has relaxed a bit. Not that much conversation going on anymore. Let's see. I think I already have too much white in my base color here. I like it, it feels very Dante's Inferno. Yeah, we have been talking about that it looks a bit like some Archangel Gabriel painting by, I forgot who. So it definitely has that apocalypse or apocalyptic, biblical apocalypse feel to it. So I'm just going to put some texture in this. Maybe have the undersides of the spikes or the area below the spikes be dark and the upper area light. Really not super inspired on this. Will you be doing any freehands on this heavy metal god? Oh, yeah, just the standard symbol here. I think a very simple one. And well, if you consider the dots here, the fur pattern of freehand, then that counts too, I guess. But nothing too spectacular. But yeah guys, kind of losing concentration. I'm not used to streaming that long because I kind of reduced my streaming schedule to once per week. But yeah, also I want to save the next steps for next time. So I'm definitely going to work on the slange symbol here next time, and then also the helmet and the hair. I think that's good enough. Yeah, I'll definitely also have to do the abs. Bob Ross barbecue sauce, thanks for joining the Major League. Thanks a lot and welcome to the stream. And yeah guys, don't forget, following is free and helps the channel grow, so hit that button in case you want to watch next time again. Yeah, check out my social media guys, check out my YouTube videos. You can watch about, I think, 80 videos for free on YouTube, and if you like them, you know, there's always the Patreon option. Check out my Instagram, that's where I post, you know, daily updates as much as possible. And yeah, see you next time, I guess, when we continue on this guy. The other thing I'm working on at the moment is finding a scheme for my Crimson Fists, so that's also going to be next up in video format. That's all I have. I'm going to grab a bite and then we'll see what else, maybe work on a few more videos. Thanks a lot for tuning in, thanks a lot for keeping me company. See you guys next time. Bye Mero, have a good night, don't go to bed too late. I guess that train has passed. Bye Case God. Bye guys.